Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and thought I would do another one of these videos sitting down. Alright, of course it's a little later in the day. I've actually had food and water now. Got veins coming out, give you guys that forearm shot. Alright, I'm going to talk about something, and I want to be clear on this. I'm not judging other people. I'm not telling any of you how to live your lives. Okay? I don't believe in doing that. It's not my place to do so. All right, if you're grown adults, make your own choices. But this is my opinion, okay? And I'm not stating it as a fact. I am stating this as my personal opinion, but it's something I feel strongly about. And that has to do with the people who virtue signal about being natty, who then promote alcohol. And I don't believe that that is an acceptable position. I believe it's hypocritical. And the reason for that is I truly and legitimately believe that alcohol is a greater harm than anabolics will ever be. I believe the sum total negative effects on our society and us as individuals is just dramatically higher. And this is coming from someone who used to drink. I have not had a drink in over 4 years. I have chosen to remain sober during that time. I was drinking very heavily at the period of time when I made the videos that everyone is upset at me about, or hopefully people who follow the journey are not anymore. But I was drinking very heavily during that time. It gave me very questionable judgment. It was a factor in me doing and saying stupid things that I cannot take back, that I can't undo other than apologize. Okay, so again, a perfect example of how alcohol can create problems for you, create problems in your life. I have personally lost people I care about to drunk drivers. Okay. And I've seen the negative health effects of alcohol. And the thing is, if people are going to stand there and talk about, and be righteous about being natty and not using anabolics, my point would be, how is that different? How is that better? Alcohol is arguably more dangerous to your health. I believe that. I legitimately believe that. In fact, most of the studies that show negative effects of most anabolics are in drinkers. I want to be clear, go back and read the studies and look at the notes. Generally, when you see very, very negative health markers in human clinical trials on anabolics, it is among the alcohol drinkers, not the non-drinkers. Is it the gear or is it the alcohol? Like, what's the real concern? If the non-drinkers don't have those same blood markers, is the anabolics really the big issue? Or is it the stacking of those lifestyle factors? Okay, something to factor in too with all these people who drop dead in the fitness world. How many of them abuse drugs and alcohol? All of them? Possibly. Everyone I know who died young who used anabolics had other substance abuse problems, including alcohol. Every single one of them. It's a factor. So were we talking about health? These guys don't want to do gear because of their health, but they're drinking alcohol. Alcohol in moderation has been shown to have negative effects on your health, even in moderation. Every medical doctor will tell you the best amount of alcohol to drink for health is technically 0. To drink as little as possible, with 0 being the ideal. Okay? So if that's our concern as well, people's health and safety, then you shouldn't be promoting drinking alcohol because of the health end. How about the other end? Well, the mental effects. Talking about the mental effects of anabolics. What about alcohol? What about the depression, the violence? Okay. Every one of you out there know people who are violent drunks. Every one of you. People who are physically abusive to their partners, usually alcoholics. The majority of the time. Not always, But the majority, people who get into fights regularly, usually alcoholics. Stereotype is there for a reason. Depression. Okay. How many people who in their life are heavy drinkers? What percentage? Pretty big. Right, what about the accidents? People who I cared about have been killed by drunk drivers. People I care about deeply who are still alive have been injured by drunk drivers. Very, very close loved one of mine, family member, was hit by a drunk driver. She had to have surgery, and her infant child was in the car and was only okay because she was in her baby seat and strapped into the back seat correctly. She didn't get hurt. The drunk driver hit her in the daytime. Okay. That's alcohol, guys. That is what alcohol does. It is an overall menace to our society. The positives do not outweigh the negatives, in my opinion. Strictly my opinion. And I'm entitled to that opinion. You're entitled to yours. So we have all of that, and then you're going to have people who will talk about how they're natty, and there's some sort of moral virtue to being natty because they're not using a drug that would help them reach their goals. They're not using drugs that would help them reach their goals in life, but they will promote using drugs that kill, that cause violence, that cause accidents, that destroy people's health. They'll promote that while simultaneously bragging because they don't use drugs that would actually help them reach their goals. Sorry, that's difficult for me to understand. You know, I could see it with the reverse, right? I could see if someone does both. Okay, they just like to use drugs. I could see if someone chooses to do neither. Okay, I get that. Okay, and I would say, okay, maybe that person might have an actual point. Person says, you know what, I don't want to put anything in my body that I don't have to, that I feel has any real health consequences. That's a perfectly reasonable approach. Okay, as a personal choice that they make for themselves as a human being. I can't find a flaw in that. I will say that the person who, I'll use stuff that maybe has some risk but helps me reach my life goals, but not the other because it's purely destructive. Okay, that's reasonable. Again, it's a personal choice for them as a human being. But the reverse, I will promote and use and promote, put it on my social media, a literal poison, an addictive poison that causes all those problems, while then bragging that they won't use something that will help them reach their life goals. Right? That is insane. And I can't support that stance. And I will call those people out. I think it's perfectly reasonable to call those people out and be like, you're a hypocrite. You can't have it both ways, right? You can't have it both ways like that. It's not going to work. It's hypocrisy. Don't claim to be promoting a healthier fitness or any sort of lifestyle like that if you're going to be drinking alcohol and have it up on your social media. Okay? And I think that's fair. Given the things that I have seen, the harm that it causes, and as someone who refuses to touch it themselves after that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.